welcome to another great episode. Very informative, I promise you. This is Enterprise Friday, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I am Kende Bodun.
All right, we'll kickstart today with our newspapers, and right after that will be our main conversation also for today. Do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can always find us. Reach us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platform at Enterprise TV7. We're very so honored to have with us, joining us via Zoom from Lagos State, Nigeria, Dr. Victor Ohai, a development communicator and a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Doctor, and welcome to Enterprise Television today.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much for your time. So let's kickstart today, Kende.
So on the top strip on Vanguard, we have Ibom Air fracas. Airline operators lift live ban on MRC.
Yes, and also we have the big story, a special report, how modern life is rendering men infertile.
So still on the first top strip, we have NLC issues 7-day strike notice over pension NSITF funds.
And also we have a contradictory one to lots of Nigerians. They might agree, they might not agree. Economy now stable under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that's coming from Okonjo Iweala.
We also have Boko Haram, US OK's $346 million arms sale to Nigeria.
All right, Doctor, let's just start with the trendiest story from last week. Of course, it's still crisscrossing towards other weeks. Ibom Air fracas. Airline operators lift live ban on Emerson. Doctor, I would love to have your take. I know you would have had the opportunity of discussing this on other fora, but I would love to have your take on everything that happened between Ibom Air and the young lady.
Truth is, they didn't have a choice. They are not a court of. They are not a law court. They have no right to do what they did in the first place. So lifting it is a no-brainer. You know, what they did was illegal. You cannot put a live ban. Freedom of association, of movement, all that. You say, okay, you know, I mean, there's a need to hear from both sides. The Ibom Air people doctored the video and put it out there. The young lady was outnumbered, you know, until we started hearing the views from other co-passengers. And in any case, she was disembarking. You know, it wasn't like it was something that happened when she was about to embark on the flight. She comported herself throughout the flight very well. It was only a disembarking. And what I heard towards the end was that, you know, she was trying to, it was an iPhone, she was trying to do anything, was not responding. And I didn't believe her. As a user of iPhone myself, I know that that can happen. You know, your screen can freeze. And then they did what they did and just face saving right now. It's the same impunity that runs across every aspect of the Nigerian system or society.
Okay, so so what should Nigeria introduce, or should Nigeria introduce stronger legal frameworks, you know, to protect both passengers and airlines in this?
The issue of framework, there's more than enough law in Nigeria. It's just the way it is executed. And you can see now that the government is the one in charge of the courts. The courts have no independence anymore, where the judiciary can be ordered to arrest a person and take them for trial. And the same executive arm of government can now say, okay, look, okay, you should not, and all that. And they just give order arbitrarily. It's not. So for me, I think what the aviation minister, the final thing he did was, okay, let there be more education, because where there is no law, there is no offense. What has happened, the Ibom people did not conduct themselves with civility either. So they should train all airline operators on how to deal with passengers in the best and most simple way possible. That's supposed to be part of their training. And then also create public enlightenment for passengers on how to conduct themselves when they are in planes and in public generally.
Very well, Doctor. But last on that particular story, the coveted ambassadorial position made possible by Keyamo, do you think it is worth it? Because lots of Nigerians would say, do we now permit unruly behavior and nuisance in our spaces?
I would have used a better word, advocate for good behavior, so that the stigma will still remain with them. Let them know what they have done, particularly Kwamwan. You know, make him an advocate for good behavior, not an ambassador. You know, that word should not be abused. He's not an ambassador. An ambassador is a representative.
Yes.
Who is he representing? Is he a representative of bad behavior? In fact, now that I've said it, I'm going to put it out on Twitter there. You should make an advocate for better behavior, for decent behavior, you know? So he should go out there and advocate for better behavior, for good behavior, not make it one ambassador. What? The next thing he'll go and start making music and call himself Ambassador from one. They are crazy for titles.
Very, very true.
He already calls himself a king, King Wasi and Masha. The next is Ambassador Queen, so he will now be Aquam One.
It's actually very funny.
Very funny.
In PR, you know, one of the rule of thumb is understanding who an ambassador is and who is not. Ambassador is someone who appreciates a particular product or service and makes sure that he works with it in a better way, but we are reversing the meaning and the definition of that particular symbolic word. But Doctor, let's take a look at other matters. Economy now stable under President Bola Ahmed and Tinubu, and that's coming from Okonjo Iweala. Do you really think she meant what she was talking about there, or playing to the gallery?
She does not live with us. So she does not know what we are going through on the streets. You know. Secondly, her being in that position had the support and requires the support of government. She cannot fight government. So she has to speak right, because you cannot be in such a position without your government sponsoring or supporting your candidature. So to an extent, there are areas that may have been stabilized, but she was also clever enough to say, please, let the thing, in other words, I'm using my own words now, let it have a human face. So she said what she said to protect herself, but she also said what she said, which is what she should have said.
Okay. So do you think it's more of like an indirect talk or discussion having?
No, she has given government something to use for PR.
Okay.
They will quote her and say, you see, somebody like Okonjo has endorsed us.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
So, but you know, who feels it knows it. Those that are wearing the shoe know the truth and what the rightful thing is. So, it's not to say that government has not done something. They have, but even those in government will be the first to tell you that there's still a lot more to be done, and which is why she has said, and then using my own words, let it wear a human face.
Yes,
there should be social, you know, programs to make it easier for us.
Very, very true. And what they have directly done there, especially Okonjo Iweala with the statement, is giving people like Reno Omokri and Daniel Bwala more than enough script to go home and cry to high heavens how that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing awesomely well, especially as made known by Okonjo Iweala. Doctor, let's talk about another matter. Boko Haram. U.S. okays a $346 million arms sale to Nigeria. Doctor, you know Donald Trump is more of a capitalist. He doesn't really care about what those weapons might be used for. He's rather more concerned about what comes to the United States of America. Should we be happy?
Come again, please. I didn't quite get
Yes, I said the United States okaying the sales of weapons to Nigeria worth $346 million. The question is, do you think the United States under President Donald Trump is more about money that comes into the United States, or do you think they truly would care about what those weapons will be used for?
I wouldn't worry about any of those, and the reason, frankly, is this. I mean, it's good that we can get it. Remember that there was a time we couldn't even buy arms from them, so it's fine. And that money is cheap feed to them. It's like nothing. $300 million is like nothing to the American government. So that's not a big deal. What would worry me is where those arms will end up.
Exactly.
Whether we are now, whether the arms we are bringing in will not be diverted to terrorists, as we have seen over the years. So that's the part I'm worried about. It's not whether the arms come in, it's where those arms will end up that bothers me. And we've heard soldiers say that if the government wants to end this thing in 3 days, they can do it. Those on the ground, they know the capability, they know the kind of fighting spirit they have, but their generals and those that are in authority are not giving them the arms, the encouragement, and all that is required to end this war. Maybe it is benefiting some people, and so the more protracted it is, the more beneficial it is to some people, perhaps.
Okay. If we are concerned about where these harms will be, like where these harms will be, will be given, could this increase militarization worsen human rights, concerns in conflict zones? Dr. Victor, are you there?
I'm not quite sure I got it.
Your question.
Okay. Yeah. The question is, could this increase militarization worsen human rights? The concerns in conflict zones.
Well, I'm an advocate for dialogue as a means of resolution of wars and conflicts. Okay. But if you're dealing with people who will not hear, who will not come to the table, then obviously the military option is the only option. We've been having arms up. The government, there's no way that the militants can outgun the Nigerian army. But it's the will that is the issue to me. It's not, and like I said earlier on, it's where these arms will end up. These things will come in, and I saw the other day a video where I saw these armored vehicles all looking clean, new, with guns and all that. And you ask yourself, and then all this money they're paying for kidnapping, the people are using it to refinance themselves and to buy more arms and become even stronger. These are the things that bother me.
Truly disturbing, Doctor. But let's, just before we call it a wrap on this particular segment, let's look at the Guardian newspaper for today. And straight to our talking point. Political parties boycott Rivers local government election. And that's on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. Do you think what's going on in Rivers State is worth it? A military...
I know which political parties are boycotting. Is PDP boycotting? Is APC boycotting? Is ADC boycotting? I need to know which ones are boycotting.
Okay.
Because the ruling party in the state is still supposed to be PDP, although it is now under an APC administrator.
Yes.
So is it that so I need to get the facts before I even begin to make comments, because is it that the other parties, including PDP, are boycotting? If it is, then obviously the reasons are very obvious. It means therefore that whatever happens, the scripts have already been written, the administrator will just give it all to APC. But if it is not, and if it's going to PDP, then the question is, who are the candidates in the PDP? Are they Wike's candidates, or are they candidates that have truly been chosen? And why would anybody boycott? Do they think that Wike will remotely control the results? I mean, these are things to look at before we, make an informed judgment or commentary.
Very true. Any question on that? All right, Doctor, just before we set sail, my last question on the Guardian newspaper, this is a human angle story. Prison overcrowding, federal government task public philanthropist on inmates decongestion. How then is it the prerogative of individuals to ensure there's decongestion of our prisons run by federal government? Don't you think the federal government is rather setting aside or going back with their responsibilities?
No, it's not a problem. If government will pay rent for the prisoners, and I'm in real estate, I'll build prisons and let government be paying me. I have no problem. Bring the tenants, and provide the security. If that's the intention, it presents you opportunities for business.
For business,
they can build prisons for VIPs. They can build prisons for ordinary people, and then let government be worried about security. Me, I'll provide the real estate, and then, and then pay the money for their feeding and accommodation. As long as you don't owe me, the prisoners will feed well, I will take care of them, and you provide security.
So very, very true, because in the United States, it's private individuals that build prisons and maintain them, while the government pay to them.
But that kind of one, government should pay up front, not pay their rent in advance. 1 year rent in advance for the number of inmates. Somebody is spending 1 year, pay 1 year rent.
It's business.
Gracious goodness. I just hope to see that day. Doctor, I just hope that we would achieve a Nigeria where the prisons or correctional centers in Nigeria will look like that of the United States. In fact, you see the life they live, right? And Nigeria will love to, I love this lifestyle. Because they eat well, they dress well.
They don't even look what they
don't even look troubled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Finland, that's where you will see that kind of this thing.
Really?
The United States it's still a bit rough. It's not because even within the prisoners themselves are not easy human beings. It's terrible.
Wow.
So and you know, when your freedom is curtailed, you don't know what freedom is until you lose it.
Exactly.
So a prison remains a prison. If you know what it was like during COVID when you couldn't move around, you couldn't go anywhere. When your freedom is curtailed, it does something to you, mentally and psychologically.
Very true. St. Lucia, they have little to no crime. So if you are incarcerated, sometimes they ask you to go to weekend. Just go and see your family and come back.
Are you serious?
Anytime you like. And we just hope that.
Are you looking forward to going there?
All right, so Doctor will be here to take us on our main conversation. That's when we return. David Mark calls for support as ADC eyes electoral breakthrough. Still Enterprise Friday. Please don't go anywhere.
I'll be right back.
Just joined us. This is still Enterprise Friday, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our conversation for this morning, where we have it that the national chairman of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Senator David Mark, has appealed to Nigerians to support the party in Saturday's by-election, saying the ADC is ready to offer a credible alternative in governance. Speaking at an event for ADC candidates in Abuja, Mark called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to conduct free, fair, and transparent elections.
Okay, he also urged voters in Anambra State, Edo State, Oyo State, Taraba State, Adamawa, Kaduna, Zamfara, Kano State, Niger State, and Ogun to back ADC candidates. The ADC was formed to provide better leadership. Nigerians should give us a chance to prove our worth.
He said, yes. Yeah. And also, Mark also urged the security agency to ensure a level playing field and called on candidates and supporters to obey electoral laws and guard against manipulation. We still have Dr. Victor Ohai. Thank you so very much, Doctor, for hanging on.
Thank you for having me.
Beautiful. Doctor, you have at least at some point a big player in our democratic process. You've been a member of a political party. What's your take on the ADC?
Well, it's a political party. The coalition is perhaps what is making a difference now, in the sense that people are leaving. Some of the big parties are now making ADC a big party, a relevant party, because of the players that are in it. And so, I mean, the party by itself is nothing without the people, you know, and the quality of membership, caliber of membership is what makes it what it is, because it will therefore drive followership and make it electorally viable. I mean, the fact that it's still there means that it's a viable party in the sense that it's been winning elections, even if one. If you do win, even if it's a councillorship position, then you're qualified to remain, you know, in the INEC register. So what has happened now is that you have a group of, I'm using the word is gone through, not negatively. I'm using it just loosely. It's gone to people from other parties who have come in there, gathered there to make it what it should be. And why it is what it's gone to is that they're not happy with their party, they're not happy with what is happening generally, where they're coming from, and they've decided, okay, look, let's look for an alternative platform where we can all congregate together and where the enemy of our enemy becomes our friend. And then hopefully we can win elections.
Okay. Speaking of that, let's talk about the ADC and the APC. Can the ADC truly present a credible alternative to APC and PDP, or will it remain a fringe player in Nigerian politics?
No, it can. It can truly. And the reason is because, how do I put it now?
Okay.
ADC as a party right now is comprising of big wigs from APC and PDP. These people have their followers. And they will obviously, their followers will obviously follow them to that place. And there are people who are not happy with these two parties. And they will find in ADC that proverbial third force that we've always talked about. So I think that it could be, it's a viable alternative, but whether it will win elections seriously in this round of elections is what I'm not too sure because of the time frame. But if you ask me to make a prediction, in the South, I don't see much impact, but I do see them making impact in the North, where a lot of people are being, are not too happy with the current trend of affairs.
Very true, Doctor. It's often said that politics is not righteousness. It's a cutthroat business where someone you call your friend now might turn against you just in a minute to come. When you see the likes of Peter Gregory Obi and El-Rufai holding hands, and both of them are promoted by Dino Melayi, what is the script there? What is the underlying story behind all of those superficial actions the Nigerians see?
Who did you say is holding hands with El-Rufai?
Peter Gregory Obi and El-Rufai holding hands together, sitting closely to one another.
But you heard me when I said the enemy of my enemy is a friend. Yeah?
Very well.
When you say the enemy of your enemy is your friend, they both have it. They have common enemies right now, so that makes them friends. The reason they can agree and sit together is it's like what happened in 2015, where you had another coalition that coalesced into what became APC. Incidentally, it looks like anything that rhymes with, starts with A and ends with C, ends up being a coalition. So we had CPC and AD coming together, or is it was it APP?
Five parties,
and
the CPC, the AD, a part of ABGA, and
APC.
other parties. Yeah.
Yes, coming together. Except that in this case, you just some parties, parties not collapse like CPC and this. There's no CPC anymore, I think. So what you will now find is like you have an APC is now individuals from these parties coming together and joining ADC to strengthen it and making it a viable opposition.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk. What concrete governance plans is the ADC offering beyond campaign? Beyond campaign, yeah.
Well, if you have spoken to any of them, they will tell you they want to rescue Nigeria and Nigerians.
And do you believe
them? They will tell you that they want to. It's not for me to say. We're waiting to see. It's not about believing. All politicians, we take what they say with a pinch of salt. Most politicians, rather, political parties, when they campaign, take it with a pinch of salt until you see them in action. We've seen these same people. What you must understand is that political parties are nothing but special purpose vehicles in Nigeria for grabbing power through elections. There are no ideologies. The same people in APC are the ones in PDP. The same people in PDP are the ones in ADC. So it's, at the end of the day, it's not about the party. It's about the individuals and what they are bringing to the table, which makes it, which takes us to the next level, which is that you have to judge them by their, antecedents, where they're coming from, what they've done before, what they have said that they have done. You judge their future by what they have done in the past.
Doctor, there's no gainsaying. Obviously, there's no gainsaying that the swamp is dirty, because you talked about members of different political parties jumping ship from one party to another and rejumping to another party and another. Comprehensive electoral reform, do you think that will do the magic wand in making these things better? Because this jumping ship is really becoming a nuisance, don't you think so? And it's not helping our democracy so far.
Well, first of all, no swamp is clean, no swamp are dirty. And then to speak to the issue, what you are asking, the issue of electoral reforms, it is still going to be Nigerians that will. There are, of course, obviously, there are areas that need to be reformed. How results are compiled and reported, the kind of transparency. I don't see why we have not been able to do electronic voting right now, but it suits the politicians not to do it so that they can manipulate the process. They can capture results midway and change it and all that. So electoral reforms without, ethical reforms in our minds, if you like, and if the government is not invested in it, if the people are not invested in it, it's just a shambles. Like I said, when we're doing the newspaper reviews, there are enough laws in this country. It's for people to implement them to the letter. So electoral reforms will help in some areas, but largely, if there's no will, it might not work.
Yes, because the rules are meant to be respected and obeyed. Because I understand that it's only the governor and the president that even if he jumps ship, might not be reprimanded. But for any other elected personality, when you jump from one party to another, you should relinquish that particular position to whatever. But that's not respected in Nigeria.
And we talked about.
No, it's not, because, and especially if you jump into the ruling party, your sins are forgiven. You know that. So they have told us that more governors are coming. The parties they're talking about some of these parties don't have any problem. And yet, they'll deliberately go and scatter the place so that people can just move over. There's so much impunity in this country. The rules are, like you have rightly pointed out one way or another, that they are for the weak, they're not for the strong. The laws are for the weak, to deal with the weak and not for the strong. The strong will always get away with things, and that's the level of impunity that we have.
But Doctor, do you agree with Babachi Lawal? 2 days back, he said that Peter Obi actually won the 2023 general elections and not President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Remember, he's speaking this under the platform of the APC, which President Bola Ahmed Tinubu contested with. So do you believe what Babachi Lawal said?
First of all, Babachi Lawal is no longer a member of the APC, so he's not speaking under the platform of APC. Secondly, I'm not privy to the actual results. If they saw the results and they kept quiet, then Nigerians ought to start asking them questions. I want to say, why should we trust them again when they come up with? I mean, if you saw it, you kept quiet. Here and Erufai, they are now telling us that Peter Obi actually won that election, but at the time they kept quiet because it suited them. Why should they be crying now if they think that things are not working in their favor? I really, like I said, I'm not privy to the results. It may be true, it may not be true, it may be partially true, it may not be entirely false. However, he said something, I listened to that interview as well, all of it, where he said they know how these things are done and they will ensure it doesn't happen again. But how can we trust them that when the time comes, when they get into government, they too will not do the same thing, that they permitted at the time, and they are now crying only because things do not suit them.
Sometimes it's easier said than done.
Right.
Because when you get to that position or to that post, you would now know, okay, this is how it is. What should I really do? And then you begin to ask questions. And at the end of the day, even if you want to put more strength or more energy in it, you just find that okay, maybe you might just need to, because you might not even have time to think about it anymore. You just need to just go with the flow. You understand? So I just feel this whole story has to do with, you know, even if you want to really engage in it, putting your strength, putting your energy and all that, you need to, just like any step you want to take, you just need to think about it, you know, have a second thought about it. So,
all right, I think we just have to leave it at this particular point. 60 plus years of Nigeria's independence, we're still struggling with getting our elections right. We still do not have an umpire that would conduct a decent election. Little countries like Ghana in population, though they are our senior. Yes, they got independence in 1957. But they conduct better election than we do in Nigeria. And one would wonder, when would we get there? When would we get there?
Well, speaking of Ghana, they might have had their own hiccups.
Well, of course, they have, but largely they conduct decent elections. Doctor, thank you so very much for your time. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
All right. So that's all we have for today. And I would love to say thank you to you for making this picture complete. Please do well to follow us if you may. You can find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I am Kehinde Bodun.
On behalf of the entire team of Enterprise Television, thank you once more. And we see you soon.
Yeah, see you
Bye-bye.
next time. Bye.